Welcome everybody back to These Aren't the Nerds You're Looking For. Lorenzo Phan sitting here with
Kevin Hord.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Had some technical issues that I had to tackle in a panicky manner, but all things seem to be going well now.
It was just Google Chrome and Skype that went down. You know, nothing major there.
I had Audacity. I could see Audacity, but
that's good.
Beyond that, I was like, fuck, my computer isn't going to do anything, and the internet's not going to work, and the whole world's going to come crashing down.
Hey, but we're here now.
We are.
Yeah, we're about to talk about Star Wars Resistance, the one that aired today, January 27th, 2019. That is the Doza Dilemma.
I did not even write down the episode title of this week's Star Wars Resistance. So I'm updating my notes. I now know what we're talking about. Somewhere around episode 13 or 14-ish. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, counting the first hour long as one single episode, that makes this 13. If you break those first two into two, that makes this 14.
Yeah, it's weird. It depends on what source you're looking at, because most places put the Recruit as episode 1, right? And then some put the Triple Dark as like episode 3 instead of episode 2. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We talk about this every week. It just
pretty much.
It matters no more this week than it did last week. So
not at all.
Moving on.
Moving on. So I will do a quick recap. That said, if you have not yet watched the Doza Dilemma, I will be recapping the entire episode. So that said, full spoiler alert.
Spoiler
for the
alert.
next 5 minutes or so. So ready?
Ready.
So the start of this episode, we have Commander Pyre hollow-calling Kragan, our pirate friend. Kragan is demanding triple the amount of money for the work that they're putting in because they're losing a lot of men, a lot of ships. Commander Pyre accepts these terms but adds on that he wants something else from the pirates, something special and dear to Doza. We cut over to Synara. Kragan calls her. Two more pirates, Valak and Drell, will be shipped in for a mission, and it will be Synara's job to sneak them in and sneak them up into Doza Tower. Kragan does not inform Synara of anything regarding the mission further than that. We cut over to Aunt Z's. Tora and Tam and Kaz are hanging out. Tora and Tam are playing some darts. Synara walks in, and Tora invites them all to head up to the tower to play a new video game that Tora has. She describes it.
It's called Droid Blaster, and it is wizard.
It's so wizard, she describes. Tora mentions when they're up in her room that her father, suspecting that there are possible spies on the Colossus. Synara and Kaz both try and play it cool, not knowing that either one of them are, in fact, spies. Tora offers her security code to her friends to come back anytime they want to go hang out with her in the tower. We cut over to Captain Doza, who is talking to Commander Pyre. Tora walks in, interrupting the call. Kaz goes off to see Synara. Synara is, in fact, busy, however, retrieving Valak and Drell from a shipping container to, as aforementioned, sneak them into the tower. Kaz sees her interacting with these two. He's not really sure what is going on, but he does feel something suspicious. He ends up following Synara, thinking that she's potentially in danger. But as we know, Synara is in fact working with Valak and Drell. They climb up the tower to sneak in. Synara uses the code to sneak them into the tower itself. Valak and Drell at that point then reveal that they are there to kidnap Tora Doza. Synara freaks out a little bit, calls Kragan. She's very upset and runs off instead to help Tora. We cut back to Valak and Drell. They take out a couple of droids. They go ahead, kidnap Tora. We cut over to Captain Doza, who is then informed that 4 droids have been knocked out and that Tora is no longer in her room. Kaz running around trying to find where Synara has gone off to, literally runs into her. Synara gets Kaz to help her, informing him that Tora is in fact being kidnapped. She's in danger. Kaz takes off from the fireball. Kaz tells Synara to tell Doza to get the aces in the air. Synara calls in to the tower as Yeager's repairs, quote unquote, there. She does not identify herself as the caller, but she does inform Doza to scramble the aces and get to the air. Pirates are around and causing more trouble. Kaz follows Tora and the pirates and transmits the coordinates to Doza. However, the transponder on the fireball is down. BB-8 is trying his best to fix it while they're in the air, so therefore the aces do not get the coordinates. Kaz runs into Kragan, who is in a larger pirate ship of his own. He gets shot at. Tora is transferred from two little speeders that have been flying over the water. They transfer over to this larger pirate ship. Right at this moment, also, the First Order do arrive. Major Von Reg arrives and starts shooting at the pirates and, quote-unquote, rescues Tora. Major Von Reg claims or heads back to the Colossus, delivers Tora back to Captain Doza, claims that the First Order have been monitoring pirate activity, and that is why they were able to respond so quickly. He leaves a couple of stormtroopers as protection detail for the Doza clan. Kaz flies back to the Colossus, sees that the First Order is there, delivering Tora back to Captain Doza. He does seem suspicious and wary of the First Order actions. Later on, the next day, Kaz asks Synara about last night's quote-unquote customers. She responds vaguely in a way that he knows is untrue as he is leaving, talking to BB-8. BB-8 warbles a message off to Kaz, and Kaz goes, I know. She's either helping the pirates or she is one of them.
Yeah, she was straight up lying.
Yeah. So we end on a shot of Synara, and then that is the end of this episode. We cue fanfare from there.
Cue fanfare.
Yes.
Do you have the writer and the director of this episode?
I had them pulled up, and if you give me 1 second.
I have them.
The director is Sergio Paez. And the writer is Gavin Hignight.
Is it Hignight or Hignite?
Or Hignite. I can't read the small font, my own computer screen. That's all. Don't mind me.
There you go.
But, yeah.
So, first off.
Go for it.
What is Captain Doza's dilemma?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Well, okay.
I think
maybe a better question is the dilemma Doza's? I mean, it's called the Doza dilemma, right? So is it Captain Doza or is it Tora Doza? Who has the dilemma here?
I think it's Captain. I think he's stuck between. I think he also suspects that the First Order is trying to pull a fast one on him.
Okay.
But he's also stuck in a position where he can't refuse their offer at this point. He keeps trying to hold them off. So in the scene where Tora kind of interrupts them, Captain Doza is doing what he can to keep the First Order off his base, essentially. They've been there in kind of a neutral position. You know, they're kind of still in the deal-making phase, but he's very careful to not grant them full control of the Colossus.
Yeah, it sounds like they've been coming and going pretty regularly. Kaz at one point when they are playing Droid Blaster is talking to Tora. Tora says something about her dad being busy or whatnot, and Kaz says, yeah, with the First Order. And she's like, she just kind of looks at him. He's like, I've seen him coming and going. So
right.
Do we know officially what the proposal is, or is it basically like, is this like a a mob type thing where it's like, we'll come in and protect you and you pay us?
I think it's something like that. I think in the previous episodes they mentioned that they would be there to try and collect some of the fuel supplies that the Colossus is mining or drilling or whatever harvesting up.
Yeah.
However that harvest is happening. But I think the First Order wants at some of that action.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I remember Commander Pyre says something about it in this episode, but it's pretty generic. It's like they just want control of the platform. But
something like that. Yeah,
that's definitely their motive. But I don't know what the offering to Doza is. It's kind of silly to just walk in and be like, "We want control," and like, okay, what are you gonna give us? Like, no, you didn't hear me right. We are going to control your platform.
Well, the First Order has always been trying to offer the guise of protection from the pirates. So starting with the Triple Dark, that was supposed to be like the pirate attack that scares Doza into giving control over to the First Order.
Okay.
Right. So that much makes sense. I agree it definitely isn't clear, or the show has been so scattered that that has been established so long ago, or not frequently enough, that repeating it again would kind of be nice, or just making it clear once again. But through the various episodes, that's kind of been the First Order's play.
Right. Okay. Shooting all the way back to the beginning of this thing, in the establishing shot at the beginning, there is like this cargo ship, kind of off. It's not like docked with the Colossus. It's just kind of chilling there, but it looks a lot like Taraj Key's ship from last week. So is this just kind of the reason I'm asking? Is this a like generic cargo ship, or is it that ship specifically? Because it's like you see the ship at water level, and then the next thing you see is Synara like bringing something up to like deck level. So I didn't know if she like went and did her what do you call it? She went and got the ship, when she pulls the shit off the bottom of the ocean.
Like a salvaging mission?
Yes. Did she salvage that particular ship, or is this just another ship that looks similar?
It's possible that the ship was salvaged back,
I'm saying it's his.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have no proof either way.
Yep.
I personally didn't notice it, so this one's all you.
Hey, fair enough. Well, there you have it. This is Taraj Key's ship that we see at the beginning of this episode. So there you have it. This plan to sneak Valak and Drell in a shipping container seems like a crummy plan. We've seen a lot of people just kind of come and go from the Colossus, and I know that there is like a customs or security or something, but
right.
There's also like all those I won't even say secret passageways, but other means of getting in via like underneath the Colossus.
There's definitely a lot of open ports underneath to just climb up into.
It seems like they would just be able to kind of fly up and land over, at Synara's little salvage operation and be able to go from there.
And when Synara takes them out of the shipping container, she does mention how difficult it was to sneak them in, and that they could have been captured at any point and discovered or found or whatever. She just makes a brief mention at just how dangerous this particular mode of smuggling in was.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah,
what she should have said is, this was a stupid idea. You guys should have just like drove up over here and parked instead of being all secretive, because now we have to have like probably fake transcripts for, the shipping documents and all this other stuff. And then Synara has to be the specific one to be there to receive the shipment. But she's not like, I don't know. She's a salvage operator, right? She's not a deck officer? Deck officer?
Nope.
No. I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, when she salvage stuff, does she have to report what she salvages to anybody? Like,
couldn't she just salvage a ship and they just hide in that ship, and then she's like, "Oh, here we go, pulling this up to my my little dock so I can strip it down and sell this stuff for parts." Oh shit!
Or just like another shipping container from the bottom of the ocean, like they couldn't have dropped that off in the middle of the night,
right?
And then just have her discover it,
right?
Quote unquote,
right?
Later on, yeah.
So Valak and Drell are there, with a pretty specific mission, and although Synara only talked to Kragan briefly, should she have not seen this coming? Did you see it coming? Did you know Tora was going to be kidnapped?
Yeah, pretty much, right from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. I did not know from the beginning, but I did figure it out.
Nope. Pretty much as soon as Pyre mentions that he wants something that is special to Doza.
Oh, I guess that is true. I was probably like, I bet Tora's gonna get kidnapped, and then I was like, I don't know, whatever. We got some people sneaking on the Colossus. Forgot about it. Came back to it. Got it. Should Synara have known?
I'm trying to remember what Kragan says specifically to her. I think her mind is maybe fragmented enough that she wouldn't suspect it, but if Kragan used anything to the effect of something important to Doza, then yes, Tora should have crossed her mind.
Okay. Did you like Synara's explanation of why she is such a good marksman? Because she, kicks ass at that game, right?
Yeah,
So what she says
she's flawless victory, yeah.
Yeah, she says her dad used to take her hunting on Vancor, and we know what's on Vancor. Gundarks.
Right.
I didn't know that people hunted Gundarks, but I guess you do to prove how tough you are, and it seems like an optimal place to take your daughter to teach her to be a marksman? A markswoman?
I guess so.
A better shot?
A sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter? Yeah. With a blaster? Not even with some type of rifle or anything.
When Kaz plays the game, he misses completely.
Oh, he's terrible.
Which I thought was funny.
Now I feel like in probably Signal from Sector 6 or somewhere around that, we saw Kaz with a blaster, and he actually wasn't that bad of a shot.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was feigning poor marksmanship a little bit.
I don't think he was, though, because I think Kaz is I gotta impress the ladies, He's gotta,
and then it's just that aloof about it.
Yeah, he's just not good.
That's possible, but yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought we had already seen him shoot a little bit, and I know he wasn't perfect, but I didn't think he was that bad as to fail at a simple video game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people are just not good at duck hunt, but, they can win gold in the Olympics, maybe.
I guess, yeah.
It's not actually a blaster. It's just a video game, man.
With a very accurate-looking blaster, by the way.
It is very true.
When I got Time Crisis on my PS2 back in the day, the gun was a bright fluorescent orange. There was no mistaking that thing.
Right. Just spray paint it black, man.
I guess, yeah.
What do you need a gun for? Are you going to be robbing banks or something?
It's just weird that Tora's gun for this game was just very accurate. It was still gray. It had maybe a blue cap on the front,
See, I thought that was the sensor for the fake laser comes out.
Right. But all the same, that's not terribly different than an actual blaster,
And you can see it discharge some sort of energy, right? There's something
it just it lights up or something like that, but nothing
Doesn't it shoot light out?
Maybe, but I don't
remember.
I don't know. I couldn't remember if it was part of the video screen or if it was something actually from the like it still might be a hologram of some sort.
Mm-hmm. It's like a hologram blaster bolt.
Right. It's like
holobolt?
Like an augmented reality sort of situation, right?
Nice. I dig it. What
else you got here?
I did like the fact that we had essentially like two opposing spies in a room where Tora is talking about how her dad thinks that they're spies.
Yeah, that was a fun little moment where both Synara and Kaz kind of get nervous really quickly. And yet nobody else in the room seems to notice.
Yeah, you would think that Tam would have, like, I don't know, picked up on that or something.
From both of them, even. She was, like, right between them.
Right.
I will say, too, continuing from last week's episode, Kaz still makes some bad assumptions or bad guesses, but he is better about this spy business still.
He is better. Only is he better in knowing when he needs to spy, but he's better at not being caught spying.
Right.
Because it was clever of him to ask Tora about the First Order when she's talking about her dad being busy and all this stuff.
Agree.
And it was conversational. It wasn't, in earlier episodes, he would have been like, hey, yeah, I heard your dad's like real busy with the First Order. Like, what's going on with that? You want to give me any information?
Right, exactly.
And now he's just like fitting it into conversation and moving on from there.
And it's coming from like a curious standpoint where he's like, hey, so I noticed the First Order's here. What is up with that?
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely feels a lot more natural than just outright asking as he would in earlier episodes.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even ask like what is going on with them. He just he's wondering if that is what is taking up Captain Doza's time.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, what are they doing here? Why is your dad talking to him? Has he said anything to you? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Right.
He's not grilling her with questions. It's just like, yeah, my dad's been busy, and he's like, oh, I've seen the First Order around. Is it them? So kudos to him. He's getting a little better.
Right.
I fully expected at the end of this episode for him to give some report to some resistance officer or something, because we haven't seen that in a while. Like, he hasn't made his call in. He's talked about it. He said
he's
that he's
about
going
it, but
to,
we haven't seen it.
But we haven't seen it in a while. Calling up Elo Asti and getting that thing done. So we've got 3 specialty First Order troopers in this episode.
Yep.
And I feel like it's cluttered because you got Pyre in the beginning, but behind Pyre is Captain Phasma.
Yep.
And then later, Pyre, I guess, gives orders to Von Reg, and then like Von Reg's there, so it's like we got Chrome, we got Gold, we got Red, and it just feels like too many specifically specialty troopers.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This goes back to, I think it was just a conversation we had last week about why Von Reg and Pyre are 2 separate characters.
I believe so.
And this episode especially just shows me how they do not need to be separate characters in the least. I do not understand what Von Reg is doing that Pyre could not be doing, or what Pyre is doing that Von Reg could not be doing. Like, why does it have to be Major Von Reg here at the end of this episode?
I think Pyre and Phasma should be the same person, and that Von Reg can still be Von Reg. Like,
yeah.
But then I guess it also reminds me that I was like, what the fuck is Phasma's responsibility? Because she's supposed to be, I don't know, in charge of like all troopers, but then also she's on like these reconnaissance missions to like find mining material. And
yeah, like I don't think Phasma should take on that role of like negotiating specifically with Doza, you know, about accepting first order terms to do whatever they want to do. It does seem like a lower down person should do that.
Like,
but then
Commander Pyre.
Like Pyre, yeah. Like Pyre makes sense to me. Major Von Reg is where I get confused, you know. Like, why is there even lower stuff being handed off to him that...
Well, I guess Pyre's like...
in charge,
I guess Pyre's like middle management, right? So it's like Phasma's at the top, and then she's giving orders to Pyre. And then
Pyre's like regional manager.
And then Pyre's like, hey, I got this shit set up. You make sure it gets done. Like,
right.
You know, so I guess maybe in that aspect it makes sense. But when you start an episode with Pyre talking to Doza and you have Phasma standing behind him and she's like nodding and stuff, and clearly they just didn't want to pay Gwendolyn Christie for 2 lines of dialogue at the beginning of an episode, right? Like, they're using their larger entertainment assets in more specific situations where it's more necessary, and it's not necessary to have Gwendolyn Christie come in and record 2 or 3 lines of dialogue for this episode.
Right. I think also I wouldn't have this problem with the separation of these characters and their various uses, I guess, or their necessities, if we were dealing with the First Order on a more regular basis in this show, which we have not really been dealing with. Like, they've always been there in the auxiliary, you know, in the periphery of this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
But on an episode by episode basis, like, they're glorified cameos. You know, this is the first episode where we've had a story start with something that they initiate and it follows through.
And I really, really liked the initial establishing shot of this episode being Starkiller Base. We got a Dreadnought Star Destroyer and some other Star Destroyers. Like, boom, here you go. We got the First Order in this one. I liked that a lot.
Definitely. This kind of addresses the complaints I've had in the last handful of episodes where we've always had kind of a Colossus-centric story, and then right at the last moment, they'll try and drop in, like, bigger picture stuff that comes out of nowhere. And then here, finally, we do have kind of... It's still a Colossus story, but it weaves in the bigger picture stuff all at the beginning a lot better, you know?
I agree.
So I definitely like that. It's hopefully finally taking a turn where, you know, the story, it's just all woven in together a lot better.
Instead of
don't forget the First Order is part of this. This is why we're all here.
Yep.
What could it be? Is it First Order connected? We'll find out. That's my impersonation of this series up to this point. If I had to give this whole series a voice, that's the voice I give it.
Which way did he go?
So,
next question.
Go ahead.
Did you foresee this double cross of Von Reg on Kragan?
No, not specifically. Not that. That one I did not see.
As soon as, like, even I don't remember who made the comment, but they're like, man, First Order got here pretty quick. They must have been close.
I think Kaz is the one that says that.
It was either Kaz or it was...
And then Kragan says it too.
Uh-huh.
Or, like, Kaz is like, what's the First Order doing here? And then Kragan is like, good, they came quick with our money. You know? Like, I didn't see it coming, but I'm not surprised that it happened either. Does that make sense?
Once it was called out that, like, man, they got here fast, I was like, I wonder. Like, I picked up on that faster than I picked up on Tora's being kidnapped.
Being the target. to be fair though, like I'm sure if the First Order wanted to play it, proper, that it wouldn't be difficult for them to get whatever credits that they would need to deliver to the pirates anyways.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure.
Like, I'm sure the First Order also, like, the reason that didn't tip me off in any way was I figured that the First Order would want to be keeping tabs on the pirates because at the beginning of the episode they kind of established that the First Order isn't quite happy with the pirates' performance rate.
Right.
I guess is a way to put that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're employing pirates through three different levels of communication. Mm-hmm. And they don't seem to be necessarily paying them that well because otherwise they wouldn't need to pirate anymore.
Right.
And I don't really know. I mean, you can't trust pirates, so who knows? I will say, both of these pirate ships that we see would make fucking awesome Lego sets. And it got me wondering whether or not we will see some Star Wars Resistance Lego, because that, to me, is pretty exciting.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm amazed we haven't seen too much merchandise yet. Have you been seeing a lot of merchandise from Resistance at all?
I don't think I've seen any.
Yeah, I don't think I've noticed any, and I'm one that every time I head to Target, I do kind of do my large circle from, like, the necessary grocery section,
right,
where I'm picking up my random shit, and then I always take kind of a detour. I'm like, let's see what new Funko Pops Target might have, or see if any video games or even books are on sale.
I definitely hit the 3 3/4 aisle, and usually movies, and I don't know what my wife goes to Target for, but I accompany her, and then I wander off and I look at toys and movies and also sometimes books.
Yep. Target has some good exclusive books every now and then, which is interesting. Or exclusive editions of books.
Yeah.
Should I say. So, yeah.
I agree. What else do I got here? Yeah. I'm sure we've talked about Kaz being able to understand BB-8 now, so that's just that's a thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's just a thing. Yeah.
We get to actually hear our yellow ace.
Right.
We hear his voice. His name is Bo Keevil. He is a Keldor, which is the same alien as Plo Koon, and he is voiced by none other than Dave Filoni.
Ah, very nice.
So,
Drell. I did not catch that at all.
Drell and Valak, don't have too much to say. Valak is voiced by Jennifer Hale, who also does the voice of Ayla Sakura in the Clone Wars, and Ryo Chuchi in the Clone Wars as well. And then there is Drell, voiced by David Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy? Probably Shaughnessy, not Shaughnessy. That's all I got on that. So, other than that, I mean, everything's wrapped up pretty nicely by the end of this thing. Like I said, I did expect kind of a report back to the Resistance by Kaz, but not so much. We're definitely seeing a little bit of struggle by internal struggle with Synara, because she talks to, I thought it was interesting because when she first talks to Kregan, he's like, "Oh, I haven't heard from you in a while. What are you, busy hanging out with your friends?" And then she bumps into Kaz, and Kaz is like, "Hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?" So I think the description of this episode is Synara settles into her life on the platform, which seems like that's what she's doing. She's just she's
just working. She's trying to blend in.
I'm doing this thing and, keeping to myself and whatever. But then at the end of the episode, when she talks to Kregan again, she gets cut off because, Kaz comes up. So she's got to hang up real quick. But he's like, "That's it. Deal's off. Job's over." And she's like, "Well, what does that mean for me?" And then Kaz walks up and she has to hang up. So there's a little bit of cliffhanger with where her character is moving as far as this episode goes. So it'd be nice to to kind of see what's happening in the future. Do you have any predictions with Synara? Is she going to fade off of the show, or is she going to jump figurative ship and kind of join forces with Kaz, and they're both going to figure out where they came from, where they're going, and kind of sync up for a common goal?
I think what's going to happen is she will disavow all ties with Kragan, but not before Kaz gets confirmation that she is a pirate, you know? Then there will be an episode where Kaz can't trust her, blah, blah, blah. She tries to explain her side of things. He doesn't believe her. But then she'll do something that convinces Kaz that she does, in fact, disavow all ties with the pirates and then join Kaz's cause without maybe knowing that Kaz himself is also working fully for the Resistance. But then
Fair
later
point.
on, and then, I think Kaz being revealed as a Resistance will come all at once to everybody other than, obviously, Yeager.
Right.
Who already knows. But I think that will be its own reveal.
So you think everybody's going to find out?
At some point, but I think Synara being revealed as a pirate will be its own issue and its own kind of story arc there.
See, I was almost feeling like that could happen as early as next week. So the episode title for next week is The First Order Occupation, according to the information that we have, right? So I'm thinking that Synara is going to be pissed about the First Order, like, backstabbing Kragan, and then Kragan just abandoning her and leaving her there. So she's going to have it out for the First Order. So she's going to be doing her thing against the First Order. Kaz is going to be doing his thing against the First Order, and they're going to probably literally bump heads, because that's what happens when Kaz is running around. He literally runs into people. So
I don't foresee Synara trying to continue to maintain strong ties with Kragan, especially after the shit they kind of pulled.
Right, I don't either. But I think that she's going to take her frustration out on the First Order
specifically.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. So, yeah, I definitely see what you're thinking there. So we'll have to see next week. But
yeah, we will have to see next week.
Yeah.
But before then, let's give this one a final judgment. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How you feeling?
I like this one. I'll give this a thumbs up.
I'm giving this one a thumbs up as well.
Yeah, a strong episode. This is as I was alluding to earlier in our discussion here. This sort of story structure is kind of what the show always needed, really. It still has a standalone episode, or a standalone story to some degree, right? But like I said, it's just woven into the fabric of the overall arc of the series a lot better, and all the same as opposed to earlier episodes. No character here really makes a decision that I can't see them making, or that's a wrong way to put it, because earlier in the series, Kaz was making some dumbass decisions because he was a dumbass character.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're at a point where Kaz is a decent spy, and he's doing a good job at that. And he's
getting there, man. He's making progress.
Yeah, so he's taking the information that he has. He's still kind of sometimes seeing things incorrectly, but he'll self-correct when he gets more information. So, like, in the middle of the episode, he kind of thinks that that Synara might be in trouble with these two other pirates. He's not sure what the relationship is. But by the end of the episode, he takes in more information, then realizes she's either helping pirates or she's actually a pirate herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated how quickly he came to that conclusion, rather than just having the story forget that he made some dumbass assumption in the middle of it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with all of that there, and I don't know that I can add too much more to your positivity, so double thumbs up for us
episode.
This week.
Yes. Yeah, very good episode.
Last question I got for you is a one-word review.
Ooh, I always forget about this part. I don't know. Yeah, this one definitely leaves me intrigued. Let's put it that way.
Intriguing?
Yeah. For the first time in a while, this show has actually intrigued me. For all the stuff we've discussed, I like this show this episode has a good earned cliffhanger. Like, the story here is wrapped up, but there's still the lingering threads of what Synara is feeling. Where will she go? It does feel like maybe next episode we'll kind of readdress this. I'll be surprised if we don't. Just get right back into it.
I will not be surprised if we don't, because I do feel one drawback from several of the episodes that we've seen of this series so far is that we do get setups at the end of episodes, and then the next episode
they never
is like something else,
right?
And you might eventually come back to it, but it's like, all right, like, this thing happened, and like I'm excited to see the next episode, and then
you're right, yeah,
and then Niku has a fish,
right? Absolutely.
Which I did like that episode as well, but, when you go from Station Theta Black, like, what's going on with this station? And we got some First Order business, and got a report because they're drilling for Deadlanite and all this stuff. And then, like, the next episode, you're like, man, where's this Deadlanite shit going? Like, no, we're just going to jump in, and Nico's going to get a little fish friend, and we're going to have a Godzilla attack on the Colossus, which is cool. It was a great story. Just saying.
So basically, next episode we could just have Jar Jar show up.
I would not hate that. I do not hate Jar Jar.
Here's my hope, though, is like, I'm hoping now that we're in episode 13 / possibly 14.
Right.
We're hopefully the writers, because this happened with the Clone Wars as well, and this happened with Rebels, where for whatever reason, season 1 of all of these shows, all 3 of these shows, the writers have no fucking clue what they want to do with this show. Right. They're spending way too much time trying to set shit up and have these standalone episodes that try to, build these characters in super unsatisfying, super annoying ways. Right. And then finally, when they decide on an actual arc that they kind of on a dime go all hands on deck on that one storyline to some degree. Like, Clone Wars was structured a lot differently, for sure, just based on the way that show works with the way it hops around, but there's still kind of it has a shift and then gets into multi-episode arcs, multi-episode storylines, and kind of has a singular driving force, even though the stories don't all connect with each other throughout the entire season, per se. Rebels, however, had a lot of episodes that just felt so pointless, so dumb, and then finally, towards the end of season 1, it kind of takes a turn and then has a singular driving story behind it. And I'm hoping that this is where we're at now. Like, we're gonna hopefully take that turn.
Yeah, we have been saying that in recent weeks, and I think that each week I have more of that feeling. My one-word review of this episode is magnetic, and that's the only way that I could put into one word the feeling that I really liked this episode, and I really want to see what's happening next. So it's pulling me in.
Yeah, I hope.
Like, I've already been pulled in, but it's keeping me there. Like, I'm not going anywhere next week. I'm excited to see what's coming. with the First Order occupation and beyond.
I will say this is the first episode that actually got me excited for this show at all. And I've been pretty down on this show this whole time. So for me to actually hold out hope that this show might be going somewhere, I think that's a big turn.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm holding out some hope that from here on out the writers kind of get control of their own show and really start building upon all the various little pieces they've kind of been just randomly dropping around. Like, I'm still holding out some hope that we'll see something with the Children of Tehar.
Yeah, that was another one of those
random threads
setups. Like, hey, these people are back.
Like, I forgot they existed at all, and then there's some psychic ability sort of things happening,
or
premonition.
Usually in the Star Wars universe, that would be equated to the Force,
right? But yeah.
So,
anyways,
yeah, we will have to see. So again, next week, the First Order occupation. We'd like to say thank you to Kevin Warren at They Call Me K-Dub on Twitter for being our podcast artist, and Lindsay, email strangefantasymusic@gmail.com. She does our music, intro outro music, so hit her up if you want to hear more of her stuff. Other than that, I've been Kevin.
If you want to email us...
Oh, shit.
If you want to email us, you can do so at notthenerdspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet Kevin. He's in charge of our Twitter at nottthenerds. And then if you want to reach out to me, I'm in control of the Facebook. That's at nottthenerds podcast on Facebook. What else you got? So if you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn. Anywhere you do listen to us, give us a like, review us, subscribe to us, please. Also, the audio is being put up on YouTube, so that is another way to give us a listen as well.
Yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button there, because we're working our way towards getting that, what is it? Like a dedicated YouTube link, I guess is what it is, instead of ZXY238 at 94 underscore 77.2.
Yeah, it's like a long string of random numbers and symbols. But yeah, there's a certain subscriber threshold that we would have to surpass to get certain perks of YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, and then on occasion, Kevin and I will discuss special episodes that we like doing videos for. We did our first video recording was for the Star Wars Holiday Special.
That came out about a month ago.
Yeah, so we'll think about different things we can do with that format as well. The reason we don't is just it ends up being a lot more work for myself. But if we can think about special things, special episodes,
we'd like to move that direction, but we would like to move that direction with purpose.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So, yep. So as Kevin already said, that is Kevin Hord. I'm Lorenzo Phan. These aren't the nerds you're looking for.
I already said it.
Bye-bye.